Hi, I'm Sheilaa Hite, world-class astrologer, tarot master, spellcaster, medium, and all-around magical being. And I'm here today to talk to you about the week's upcoming astrological aspects. There won't be many, but they will be impactful. The first one starts with Labor Day, September 5th. The planet Venus, the planet that rules relationships, value, especially self-value, money, and health, that planet is going into the very analytical, critical, organizational sign of Virgo. So Venus in Virgo, not generally thought to be exciting, but Venus in Virgo, if you look at it and use it correctly, is very exciting. Why? Because you get things done. That's why. And getting things done that need to be done gives you tremendous satisfaction. Satisfaction, Venus, same thing. So Venus in Virgo is going to be a time when you can look at what's going on in your life. You can look at yourself. You can look at those little projects that you meant to finish. And this is the time when you can finish them and get that wonderful sense of satisfaction and that wonderful sense of completion, which will leave you room and space for new things to come in. So Venus in Virgo cautions us, though, that we should not be, that it is not a good idea to be overly critical. And if you're having trouble discerning when you're being critical or overly critical, then that's the signal for you to know, don't criticize. Overly critical is in the eye of the beholder, but for the most part, it hits not our minds, but it hits our hearts. It affects how we feel we're valued and how we feel we're being taken either for granted or taken for a ride. And sometimes that ride is there to destabilize us. Sometimes that ride is there to make us feel less than great about ourselves. When people are overly critical, are they criticizing you, or are they projecting, criticizing themselves and trying to make it seem like you? When you are being critical, overly critical, what are you doing? Now, Virgo also rules discernment, which is the more polite and useful cousin of criticism. You need to know what something is, you need to know what its value is, and you need to know how to properly organize that so that you can use that. That's pretty much what you need to do with Venus in Virgo. Have a great time, because Venus anywhere is about having a great time. Then on September 9th at 11:37 p.m. Eastern Time, Mercury, our old friend Mercury, goes retrograde yet again. Mercury, communication. Mercury, siblings even. Mercury is really about conduits, roadways, connecting. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it goes backwards. Actually, it appears to go backwards. We have to be very careful. We have to be careful not to sign anything without thoroughly checking it. I believe you should check at least 3 times. We have to, if you have any plans for anything, any plans or reservations, make sure that you check at least 3 times to make sure all 3 match. And all 3 have to match what you understand is so. So Mercury going retrograde this time will involve the signs Libra and Virgo. Libra often has trouble making up their minds. So this is a good time to look at that and to decide, you know what, I'm going to be decisive, at least for the next 3 weeks, the length of time that Mercury is retrograde. And it retrogrades, it goes back into the sign of Virgo. So you get a chance to look at all you've done and to have a do-over, sometimes with your do-overs. So definitely this is a time to research, to rest, to replan. This is a time to reorganize, retrograde. The next thing that will happen for us, oh, by the way, Mercury is retrograde until October 2nd. And the next very important thing to know about is on the following day, September 10th, we have the full moon in Pisces. Now, the full moon is always impactful, and Pisces is the dreamer. Pisces is the soul sign. Pisces can also be the illusion sign. And illusion is great because we wouldn't have movies without them. Illusion is great. We wouldn't have music or art or poetry without that illusion. However, what the full moon in Pisces is telling us is be careful about the kind of illusion you're dealing with. What type of illusion? Are you dealing with illusion that is going to push you forward in your dreams, your hopes, and your wishes? Or are you dealing with illusion that's going to hold you back, going to keep you in relationships you don't need to stay in, going to keep you feeling less than about yourself? Illusions that have you thinking that something that common sense would tell you is not correct, but illusions that will have you thinking that those things are correct. Take deep breaths around this full moon. 3 days before, the peak, and 3 days after. So make sure that you, again, Mercury will be retrograde at that time, and Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, is about illusion. Make sure you don't sign anything you don't have to sign, and if you have to sign something or buy a high-ticket item like a house or a car or a computer, please check at least 3 times with 3 different experts before you make one of those intense decisions. So, how about moon water? Now, every new moon and full moon, I encourage you to make moon water. Why? Because moon water is water that's charged by either the energy of the new moon or the full moon. And that charge can really help you in your endeavors. So, about 3 days before the full moon, take out a cup, a vessel of some sort, put water in it, put a cover on it, and put it in the window. Why the cover? Because unfortunately little critters, little insects find their way in. And you don't really want something swimming around in your moon water. Then leave it there up until we reach our peak period. That'll be September 10th. Then I like to leave it for 2 or 3 days after so that there's not only the waxing, but the waning. We get all of that full moon energy in. Afterwards, I use it. I sip a little of it in the morning, especially. Gives you an extra something to get you started. I also put a little bit in whatever food I'm preparing. And once in a while, I'll pour a little bit into my bath water. Use it to bring up the energy of the moment of the time, and use it to heighten your experience of being fully involved, fully engaged in your life. So on that note, I say happy week, and remember, Mercury retrograde on September 9th, the full moon on September 10th. Be well.